Have you heard about any engine whose efficiency depends only on the temperature of hot reservoir and the temperature of cold reservoir? Have you? No? Well, no problem. Today we will learn. Welcome, my dear students. Today we are going to see the topic 12.13 Carnot engine, one of the very important topic of this chapter. Let us see. French engineer Sadi Carnot was the first to consider that what is the maximum efficiency possible for a heat engine and what type of cyclic process should be adopted to achieve maximum efficiency. Means Sadi Carnot was the first to think about to get maximum efficiency in any heat engine. Carnot arrived to a correct answer. He designed a reversible heat engine operating between two temperatures called as Carnot engine. Remember this thing? This engine operates between two different temperatures and that is called as Carnot engine. Carnot adopted a four-stage cyclic process made of two isothermal and two adiabatic process. This is also very important that there were two isothermal and two adiabatic processes. That means there were total four processes. There were total four stages. This cyclic process is called as Carnot cycle. In Carnot engine, the working substance is an ideal gas. This is also important. The working substance is ideal gas. To ensure the Carnot engine a reversible engine, process of each stage is taken quasi-static. This is also important. All the processes are quasi-static in Carnot engine. The four stages are as follows. In short, Carnot engine is having four stage processes and every process is quasi-static. There are two isothermal process and two adiabatic process. See this graph here. This is a P versus V graph and it starts from this point, point 1, then 2, 3 and 4 and coming back to 1 because it's a cyclic process. Now, as we have discussed, there are four stages. This is the first stage where the gas gets isothermal expansion. This IEX means isothermal expansion. In the second stage, it gets adiabatic expansion. Here AEX, that means adiabatic expansion. In the third stage, it gets isothermal contraction. This is isothermal contraction. And in the fourth stage, it gets adiabatic contraction. This is adiabatic contraction and the gas reaches to its initial position again. So, the whole cycle is completed. You can see there are four stages and you can also see that there are two isothermal process and two adiabatic process. Let us see each and every stage one by one and let us calculate the work done in each and every stage. First stage is the isothermal expansion where the ideal gas passes through initial thermodynamic state P1, V1, T1 to final thermodynamic state P2, V2, T1. Mind well, here it is isothermal expansion, so temperature remains constant. T is constant, so delta U will be 0. That means change in internal energy will be 0. You know that when temperature is constant, there is no change in internal energy. And so, the heat absorbed from the hot reservoir, that is Q1, will be equal to W1 as per the thermodynamic first law. Here W1 is the work done by the gas. Mind well, it is work done by the gas. And because this is isothermal expansion, the work equation will be mu RT ln V final upon V initial. So as per that, W1 will be equal to mu RT1 ln V2 upon V1. Let us name this as equation 1. Now comes the second stage, that is adiabatic expansion. Here the initial thermodynamic state is P2 V2 T1, that is the final state of the first stage, and here the final state is P3 V3 T2. Because it is adiabatic expansion, everything P, V, T all will change. But here delta Q will be 0 because there will be no exchange of heat. Now we know that in adiabatic process the work is equal to mu R initial temperature minus final temperature upon gamma minus 1. So here the work done by the gas, mind well, by the gas, will be equal to W2 is equal to mu R T1 minus T2 upon gamma minus 1. Let us name this as equation 2. Then comes the third stage, that is isothermal contraction. Now it starts contracting, so isothermal contraction. Here the initial thermodynamic state of ideal gas is P3 V3 T2 and the final state is P4 V4 T2. Here it is isothermal, so temperature is not changing. So T is constant, that means change of internal energy delta U will be 0. Now because this is isothermal contraction, it is a contraction, so here heat will be released. So the heat released in the cold reservoir, that is Q2, will be equal to W3. Here W3 is nothing but the work done on the gas. Mind well, it is contraction, so here the work is done on the gas and that will be equal to W3. So W3 will be equal to minus mu R T2 ln V4 upon V3. Why I am taking minus here? Because it is work done on the gas, so it will be negative. So W3 will become mu R T2 ln V3 upon V4. Note that here it was V4 upon V3 and there was minus here. So now I have interchanged the terms, so I am getting plus here. So finally work done on the gas W3 will be equal to mu R T2 ln V3 upon V4. Let us name this equation as equation 3. Now comes the fourth stage, that is adiabatic contraction. In this stage, ideal gas passes through initial thermodynamic state P4 V4 T2 to final thermodynamic state P1 V1 T1. You can see this is the very initial state coming back. So by this fourth stage the cycle is being completed. In this condition delta Q will be 0 because it is adiabatic contraction, so delta Q is 0 and the work done on gas, mind well, here also the work is done on gas, let us say W4 will be equal to minus mu R T2 minus T1 upon gamma minus 1. Again I am taking negative here because it is work done on gas. So now I can interchange this T2 and T1 and can write T1 minus T2, so I will get a positive here. That means W4 is now mu R T1 minus T2 upon gamma minus 1. Let us name this as equation 4. So we have seen all the 4 stages and work done in these 4 stages. You might have noticed that work W1 and W2 were work done by the gases and the work W3 and W4 were work done on the gases. So now the total work done by the gas in a one complete cycle can be written as W is equal to W1 plus W2 minus W3 minus W4. Again these are two minus because they are work done on the gas. Here the equations of W2 and W4 will be cancelled out because they both were mu R T1 minus T2 upon gamma minus 1. So they both will be cancelled out. Remaining is equations of W1 and W3 and that will be mu R T1 ln V1 upon V2 minus mu R T2 ln V3 upon V4. So this is the equation of net work done by the gas in one complete cycle of Carnot engine. Now we can derive the equation of efficiency. The efficiency of Carnot engine can be written as eta is equal to W upon Q1, You already know this equation. Here W can be written as Q1 minus Q2 upon Q1, and so we will get eta is equal to 1 minus Q2 upon Q1. As we know already that this equation is applicable for all type of engine. Now let us move forward. In the first stage, you know that Q1 was equal to W1, and the equation of W1 is mu RT1 ln V2 upon V1. Also, in the third stage we have seen that Q2 was equal to W3, and W3 is mu RT2 ln V3 upon V4. So obviously here mu R will be cancelled out. Remaining is T2 ln V3 upon V4 and T1 ln V2 upon V1. Let us name this equation as 1. Now we are going to derive a very important equation for adiabatic process. Though we are deriving this equation for this theory purpose, but it is going to be useful for many numericals and MCQs as well. Let us see. We already know that for adiabatic process, PV raised to gamma is constant. But from ideal gas state equation, we can put P is equal to mu RT upon V. Now here this is V raised to gamma, and in denominator you are having V raised to 1. So you can write it like V raised to gamma minus 1. Alright. And the remaining term is T here, so I have written T. Mu and R are constant. So you can shift this mu R in the denominator of constant. Now because mu R is also constant, so here it becomes constant upon constant, that again becomes constant. So finally here we are getting TV raised to gamma minus 1 is equal to constant. This is that important equation I was talking about. So for adiabatic process, you can also write TV raised to gamma minus 1 is equal to constant. Now in Carnot cycle, second stage and fourth stage are having adiabatic processes. First we will consider the second stage. In this stage, the initial temperature and volume were T1 and V2, and the final temperature and volume were T2 and V3. So as per the above equation, we can write T1 V2 raised to gamma minus 1 is equal to T2 V3 raised to gamma minus 1. Let us name this equation as equation 2. Now for the fourth stage, the initial temperature and volume was T1 V4, and the final temperature and volume was T1 V1. So using this equation we can write T2 V4 raised to gamma minus 1 is equal to T1 V1 raised to gamma minus 1. I can shift this term here, so I can write T1 V1 raised to gamma minus 1 is equal to T2 V4 raised to gamma minus 1. Let us name this equation as equation 3. Now we can take ratio of this equation 2 and this equation 3. So obviously this T1 will be cancelled out and T2 will be cancelled out. So the remaining term will be V2 raised to gamma minus 1 upon V1 raised to gamma minus 1 is equal to V3 raised to gamma minus 1 upon V4 raised to gamma minus 1. Now because all the terms are having same power gamma minus 1, so we can write V2 upon V1 is equal to V3 upon V4. Now this we can use in equation 1. Just for your reference, this was our equation 1. Here eta was 1 minus this mu r terms were cancelled out. Remaining was T2 ln V3 upon V4 divided by T1 ln V2 upon V1. So as we have seen that V2 upon V1 is equal to V3 upon V4. So obviously this ln V3 upon V4 and ln V2 upon V1 will be also cancelled out. Let me just cancel them out here. So the remaining term is T2 upon T1. So finally we will get eta is equal to 1 minus T2 upon T1. Let me remove this. So here is the final equation of eta. Eta is equal to 1 minus T2 upon T1. Mind well, here T1 is the temperature of hot reservoir and T2 is the temperature of cold reservoir. So the answer of the very first question that I asked is here. that this is the efficiency of Carnot engine, which is just depending on temperatures, temperature of hot reservoir and temperature of cold reservoir. This is the equation of efficiency of Carnot engine. Now let us see some important results from all of these discussions. Number 1. No engine can have more efficiency than Carnot engine when using hot reservoir at temperature T1 and cold reservoir at temperature T2. Very important. This means that whatever engine you create, which is driven by two different reservoirs having different temperatures, cannot have more efficiency than Carnot engine. Why it is so? That we are going to derive at the last. Now let us see second important result. The efficiency of Carnot engine is independent of the properties of gas. See, in the equation of efficiency of Carnot engine, there is only temperature. There is nothing like property of gas. There are no terms like heat capacity of the gas or mass of the gas or mole number of the gas, nothing. So, the efficiency of Carnot engine is independent of the properties of gas. That means here you can take any gas behaving as ideal gas. The third important result is the efficiency depends only on temperature T1 and T2. You have seen in the equation of efficiency that eta is depending on temperature T1 and T2 only. As you know, the equation is eta is equal to 1 minus T2 upon T1. So if T2 is 0, that means the temperature of cold reservoir is 0. Here 0 means 0 Kelvin. Then eta will become 1. That means it will become 100%. So if you take the temperature of cold reservoir to be 0 Kelvin, then efficiency of Carnot engine will become 100%. The same way, if we take T1 is equal to infinite, then also efficiency eta will become 1. That means if the temperature of hot reservoir is made to be infinite, then also efficiency of Carnot engine will become infinite. So these are two situations where we can get 100% efficiency in Carnot engine. Though practically we may not be able to achieve any of this temperature, but still if we keep the temperature of cold reservoir to be very less and the hot reservoir to be very large, then also the efficiency will be maximum. Now let us see the proof of result 1. That means why any engine cannot have more efficiency than Carnot engine. Let us prove that. Now for that we have to imagine a reversible Carnot engine, let us say capital R, and a irreversible engine capital I. We have to imagine two engines. One is capital R, that is a reversible engine, so it is Carnot engine, and another is engine I, which is irreversible engine, so it is an ordinary engine. Both are working between same hot and cold reservoirs. You can see that in this figure. Here is hot reservoir at temperature T1 and cold reservoir at temperature T2. This is the irreversible engine I and this is the reversible engine R. Now a little twist here. Let I act as engine and R act as refrigerator. I repeat, we have to consider I acting as engine only, but R, which was the Carnot engine, working as rather refrigerator. So here the engine I will deliver a work W dash and W dash will be equal to Q1 minus Q2 dash. You can see this engine I, it is absorbing heat Q1 and releasing heat Q2 dash and delivering work W dash. So W dash will be equal to Q1 minus Q2 dash. And engine R, which is now working as refrigerator, so it will rather require a work. Here the work required by the refrigerator W will be equal to Q1 minus Q2. See, because this engine is now working as refrigerator, so it will absorb heat Q2 from the cold reservoir and release heat Q1 in the hot reservoir, Meanwhile, it will require a work to be done on it, and that will be W. So W will be equal to Q1 minus Q2. Please remember these equations. W dash is equal to Q1 minus Q2 dash, and W is equal to Q1 minus Q2. Now, if we consider that both of these engines are having same efficiency, then the work required by the engine R and the work delivered by the engine I would be same. Means W would be equal to W dash. But here if we assume that eta of R is less than eta of I, that means the Carnot engine is having less efficiency than the other engine, then what will happen? In that case, W will be less than W dash. Mind well, W was the work required by the Carnot engine and W dash was the work delivered by the other engine. So here W will be less than W dash. But W is Q1 minus Q2 and W dash is Q1 minus Q2 dash. So here Q1 will be cancelled out. Then remaining is minus Q2 is less than minus Q2 dash. That means Q2 is greater than Q2 dash. Q2 is greater than Q2 dash. Now look in this figure again. We are getting Q2 that is greater than Q2 dash. That means the heat coming in this cold reservoir is less than the heat going outside of this cold reservoir. That means this cold reservoir is delivering a net heat, that is Q2 minus Q2 dash, to this whole arrangement of engines I and R. In other words, we can also say that the net heat absorbed by the whole arrangement is Q2 minus Q2 dash, and that is greater than 0. The whole arrangement of two engines I and R is absorbing a heat Q2 minus Q2 dash which is greater than 0. Please remember this thing. Next, here the net work is also not 0, as we have seen here that W dash is larger than W. So the work done by the whole arrangement and work done on the whole arrangement is not same. That means there will be some net work. Now because the work done by the arrangement W dash is larger than the work done on the arrangement W, that means the net work done by the whole arrangement will be equal to W dash minus W, which is greater than 0. You have to remember this thing also, that W dash minus W is greater than 0. Now from these two results, we can conclude something for this whole arrangement. This means that here Q2 minus Q2 dash heat is absorbed by the whole arrangement and W dash minus W work is done by the whole arrangement. So in other way we can say that here Q2 minus Q2 dash heat is directly converted into work W dash minus W, which is against Kelvin-Planck's statement. That means this is against the second law of thermodynamics. So we can say that our assumption is not possible. Means eta R less than eta I is not possible. That means the efficiency of Carnot engine cannot be less than any other engine. Means any other engine cannot have more efficiency than a Carnot engine. Alright, so this was the proof that any engine cannot have more efficiency than Carnot engine. Now let us see a note. In Carnot cycle, we know that Q1 upon Q2 is equal to T1 upon T2. Let me clarify this. We know that we have seen two type of equation for efficiency. Eta is equal to 1 minus Q2 upon Q1 and eta is equal to 1 minus T2 upon T1. So from that you can write Q2 upon Q1 is T2 upon T1. So here it is written that Q1 upon Q2 is T1 upon T2. Alright. So this is one important equation that is rather a universal equation, can be used for any engine using ideal gas. So that is what we are talking about. For an ideal gas, when used as a working substance, the above equation is universal and true. Here, Q1 is the heat absorbed from the hot reservoir at temperature T1 and Q2 is the heat released in cold reservoir at temperature T2. So you have to remember Q1 upon Q2 is T1 upon T2. Alright. So here with students, I complete this lecture here, and as I always tell you, I like to repeat it again here, that please note down each and every equation that are given in bracket, because these are very important equations. And the PDF of the whole writing work of today's lecture is kept in the description box. You can download it and can write down the details from that PDF. Right? So herewith signing off, Anshuman Baldania. Take care.